The Israeli PM has just not lost his swag. I mean, he just became the first PM ever to scold American presidents on social media. Hi and welcome to the Global Game with me, Vedika. Let's begin.
Нам западных элит у нас много друзей.
Hello and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical. Twitterati were left amused reading Netanyahu's post, which was a direct attack on United States President Joe Biden. Reportedly, following President Joe Biden's expressed concerns over proposed judicial reforms in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu has responded by insisting that Israel would make its own decisions and not yield to pressure from abroad. Taking to the debate on Twitter, Netanyahu commented, "I have known President Biden for over 40 years, and I appreciate his long-standing commitment to Israel. The alliance between Israel and the United States is unbreakable and always overcomes the occasional disagreements between us." He further added, "My administration is committed to strengthening democracy by restoring the proper balance between the three branches of government, which we are striving to achieve via a broad consensus." Netanyahu emphasized his administration's commitment to strengthening democracy by restoring the proper balance between the three branches of government, which they aim to achieve through a broad consensus. He also reiterated that Israel is a sovereign country that makes decisions based on the will of its people and not under pressure from abroad, including from its closest allies. Without a shadow of a doubt, these words from the Israeli PM are pretty strong. However, we say this was expected. Anyway, Netanyahu and Biden are like two opposite poles. However, their no-love-lost relationship is known to just some. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Joe Biden have often crossed swords on several issues. They have a pretty dark and strained relationship, with the former expressing open disdain for the latter. It has been observed that the US has always stood beside Israel whenever the subject of Iran has been brought up. Yet, under the Obama-Biden administration, the US and Israel had their first ever escalation in relations. The Obama-Biden team's stance on Israel was significantly different from that of their predecessors right away, with a more critical attitude towards Israel's practices in the West Bank and Gaza. But more than that, the 2015 nuclear agreement with Iran was one of the most critical flashpoints. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government vehemently opposed the agreement, which lifted economic sanctions against Iran in exchange for restrictions on its nuclear program. Netanyahu saw the agreement as a threat to Israel's security, as it did not address Iran's support for militant groups in the region. Obama and Biden, on the other hand, saw the deal as a diplomatic breakthrough that could help ease tensions in the Middle East. Netanyahu even criticized Obama in the US Congress openly. As we said earlier, he's a cult of a personality in himself. Netanyahu criticized Obama's efforts to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran, which he saw as a threat to Israel's security. He argued that the deal would not prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons and would only embolden the regime to continue its support for militant groups in the region. Netanyahu's speech was met with both applause and criticism. Later in 2016, the Obama administration allowed a UN Security Council resolution condemning Israeli settlements to pass, marking a significant break with tradition. Netanyahu called the resolution shameful and accused Obama and Biden of abandoning Israel at a crucial moment. Israel was being hounded by the US in that particular period. However, Israel and the US eventually reached an agreement over Iran when the Trump administration took office and immediately imposed sanctions on the country. Netanyahu had developed a close relationship with former President Donald Trump and had openly supported his re-election bid. However, the golden run once more came to an end, and suddenly we had the Biden administration, also known as Obama 3.0. The animosity between the two leaders has been simmering for years, but reached a new low with Biden's victory in the 2020 US presidential election. Biden again started what he and his buddy Obama were doing for years, hounding at its best. Months later, Netanyahu left office, and so Biden got the free hand to meddle in the Middle East freely. But November 2022 didn't come well for him. On 1st November 2022, Israelis voted for the fourth time to elect 120 members of the Israeli Knesset. Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu returned to power, and it left Biden in a state of worry because it meant more Russian trouble for the US amidst the Ukraine war. Amidst the backdrop of relations between the US and Israel, Netanyahu developed a geopolitical bond with Russia. Netanyahu had long argued that only because of his personal relations with Putin, Israel kept away from clashing with Russia in Syria, where both their militaries operate. Putin told me that were it not for our relationship, we would have found ourselves in the midst of a military clash. Only because we meet every few months has this been avoided, Netanyahu said in an interview with Army Radio in 2019. Netanyahu kept a pragmatic approach against Russia and never condemned Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Additionally, the ex-PM of Israel Netanyahu's re-election came at a time when the Biden administration is facing growing criticism from the Gulf, and as a result, an anti-US bloc in the Middle East comprising UAE, Saudi, and Russia is strengthening. But not everything can be smooth, and hence Netanyahu suffered a major setback in his pursuit of judicial reforms, as his introduction of new laws caused massive unrest and boycotts in Israel. Despite this, he initially refused to step back. However, it seems Biden didn't anticipate Netanyahu's strong response. The rivalry between Netanyahu and the Democrats is pretty interesting if you take a closer look. He really knows how to put those Democrats in their place. Bibi's response to Biden was something else entirely. He practically spat in his face and showed him who's the boss. It's like watching a heated game of chess, but with insults instead of pawns. Joe, better watch out for his health because Bibi's got some serious burns in store for you.